Hi everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video, and this one I am playing with a Scrap FX collage paper called Graffiti Wall Girl. Isn't this just the most stunning image? It comes, as you can see, with a black and white version and a colour version. Now, at the time of putting this video on YouTube, I did have some of these in my shop, but I have a feeling they may well have gone. But this would work with any image, and I've thought of a way that you could do something similar to this, but using an image from, say, a magazine. So there's nothing to say that you couldn't make a black and white copy of a magazine image and do the same thing with this. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to stick the black and white one on first in the centre of the page using some matte medium. So I'm sticking that down, adding a bit of matte medium over the top. You can see I'm having to go in with extra gel medium because the paper is quite thirsty in the craft journal. And then, of course, because I'm thinking as I'm going along, I decided that I wanted to put some white paint on the background first so that the craft colour wasn't distorting the colour of the collage paper. So carefully lifted the collage paper up, stuck some white paint down, dried it, added some more matte medium on the top and then stuck it back down again. Yeah, you know, if you kind of thought about it before you started going, you wouldn't have to faff about like that. But you can see how much better that image is with the white paint behind it. It kind of holds its integrity. It doesn't lose anything or take on any strange colours coming through from the craft cardstock. So then once it's dry, I am then cutting away the excess craft page, either side, the top and the bottom of the page, just so that all I'm left with in the middle of the page is the image. Whenever I cut pages out of my journal, I always keep them. They come in really useful for all sorts of other things, whether it's stamping images on or words, or even using them as a tip-in on a different page. Now here I'm just adding some clear gesso onto the pages as well. Now unfortunately the video doesn't show me completing one of the pages on this project. Because my camera failed and I didn't realise it had stopped recording. So apologies about that, but you can see the main part of the page, and really this page I'm painting now on the left hand side, I end up putting a bit of some grey tones on there and writing, a bit of stenciling as well, and that's all that you don't see me do. So the reason I've used the clear gesso is just to prime the page ready for receiving some paint. Just so that it'll help it as I did with putting the white paint under the collage paper, so that my paint will kind of be more of its true colour. So that is Permanent Red Violet Light from Amsterdam Acrylic. This is Green Turquoise, and then I also use a beautiful rich yellow called Azo Yellow Medium, all from Amsterdam Acrylic. So I'm taking my inspiration from this image that you can see on the left hand side in the colours that I'm choosing for my background, because I kind of wanted it to sit together on my page. And I think that's a really good way to work. If you are not sure what colours to use, take your inspiration from the colours that are on your background. And I could have gone with like a monochromatic theme. I could have done all pinks on the background, or all yellows, or even all blues. All of those would have worked. Now I'm going back in and adding some white paint across the centre of my page. Now I was just putting something on my phone to watch, which is probably why I didn't realise that my camera had stopped recording. So yeah, popping that on there just so that those colours I've put on the background don't come through the image and spoil the way that it looks. And then I'm using this fabulous square stencil from Scrap FX just to add a little bit of light stenciling over the top and bottom of the page. And again, I'm using white paint with the blending tool. I wasn't worried about putting too much detail on that part of the page because I'm going to be cutting letters out of there. So now I'm sticking the coloured image in, and I'm sticking it, there you go, you can see behind where the other one covers it when it's open. just so that it's kind of reflecting of how sometimes we don't show our true colours. And that's not always in a nasty way, just sometimes we kind of have to pretend, don't we, that we're all right, and really we shouldn't. Anyway, getting all deep. So these are the Alpha stencil and mask set from Dina Wakley, and I'm using these to put some letters at the top and bottom of my page. I'm making sure that they are touching the image at the bottom and each other, so that when I cut them out they will stay on the page and they won't fall off. And the fact that they're touching each other just helps to keep the structure of the page as well. So the words I'm writing here are true colours. So mapping these out in pencil first. And when I get to write the word colours at the bottom, you'll notice that I was going to start with the C, and then I was like, I'm not sure I'm going to fit this all in. So I actually started with the S and worked backwards, just so that way I could be sure that I would get the words in properly. So then I've just popped my little cutting mat underneath, and I am cutting away the cardstock to leave the letters behind, so that the letters will stay there. And it makes quite a statement actually. So the other thing that I went on to do was to add some stenciling and paint and a quote onto the page that opens out, the one that you can see on the right hand side, the cutout page. And I also outlined these letters and added some hearts onto the front as well. But yeah, this was quite a fun idea to do. So like I say, if you wanted to do something like this, then there's nothing to say, if it was just to use yourself, that you couldn't find an image you like from a magazine and just do a black and white copy of the same image and use it to do something just like this. But it's quite, it creates quite an impact, doesn't it, with those letters cut out as well. And you can see there that stenciling, the colours that I've used on the left-hand side of the page are quite muted compared to the rest of the colours on the page. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Apologies again that it didn't record all the way to the end. And I hope to see you again soon.